Hello and thank you for joining us today on our webinar for Big Data Technologies at Glasgow Caledonian University. We're joined today by Charlie Russell, who is our Associate Dean International, who will give us an overview of GCU. Pete Barrie is Programme Leader for MSc Big Data Technologies. He'll go into more detail about the programme and learning experience. And last but not least, Hagar Ahmed, one of our current students on MSc Big Data Technologies, who can share first-hand experience of studying the programme and how it's helped advance careers. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat box on screen. And without any further ado, I'll hand you straight over to Charlie.
Thanks very much, Jenny, and everybody. Welcome to this short webinar for the next hour about our Big Data Technologies MSc here at Glasgow Caledonian University. So my name is Dr. Charlie Russell. I'm the Associate Dean for International in our School of Computing, Engineering and Built Environment. So it really is my absolute pleasure to welcome you, and I hope to maybe meet you in person in due course. So I'm going to give you an overview about Glasgow and also a bit about our school as well, and then Pete Barrie will go in much more detail about the program, and then you'll get a student experience. So Glasgow, we call it our dear green place. Why? Because we've got lots and lots and lots of parkland. Glasgow is a very heavily industrialized city. It was at one point the second city of the British Empire back in the day. Very industrialized. It was famous for heavy industry, shipbuilding, and other things like that. So really lots of industry and trade. So we've got a lot of grand buildings, a very attractive city in the city centre. But it's gone through tremendous regeneration over the last few years as those industries have disappeared. And it's now really an entertainment capital. So there's lots and lots of entertainment. The Clyde has been transformed into a sort of media city area. There's lots of great events and things to do. City's brilliant for retail and other cultural events. It's a very dynamic and thriving city, Glasgow. The picture at the top left is our city chambers, which is a very grand building, and there's a lot of really interesting architecture. It's a nice place to visit. So let me talk a little bit about our campus, which is right in the city centre of Glasgow. We're very close to all the transport links, railway stations, bus stations, and the motorway. So we're very connected to the city, but also easy to get to other parts of Scotland and the rest of the UK from our campus. It's a modern campus. We're one of the modern universities. In fact, we're the top modern university in Scotland right now. And you can see it's a modern campus. It was built in the 70s. We've been updating it, and it's a fresh, easy place to be. There's lots of kind of shared facilities. A lot of the sort of ground floor areas, all open space and all available for students. So it's a friendly place, and we've got green spaces around the campus. So as I said before, we're the top ranking, top performing university in Scotland, modern university, and in the last year, and we're the second top in the UK. So we really are doing well. We ranked 40th out of 122 universities in the UK by the Guardian University Guide, and that was in September this year. We also have are the top modern university in Scotland by research power. So we hold our own in research as well, which feeds our research, our teaching. Part of what we're up to is our really at the heart of our research and our teaching now is the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs. And they're heart of what we're doing in our research and delivering more broadly. So we have a broad commitment as a civic university around that. We have a strong graduate employment rate. Over 90%, 91% of our graduates are employment very soon after finishing with us. which is higher than the normal. And Scotland's got good rates for that. We also are international. We have a number of international partnerships across the world, and we are particularly committed to gender equality. So we have achieved the Athena Swan Institutional Silver Award in recognition of our commitment towards that endeavour. And I think it's an important thing that's really at the heart of who we are. We have a number of different academic schools, including we have a London campus where a number of our programs are delivered. But big data is delivered in this school, obviously, in the School of Computing and Engineering. So more on that to come. If I just move on, we do have a lot of facilities on the campus for our students to support them. Obviously, labs for some of the more engineering-based and biosciences studies, but also, our sorry, I'm just going a little bit too fast there. Also, the sort of sense of our computing labs. So as we go forward, you'll see that this is we have a nice set of facilities there. So just to give you a link of all our programs, obviously we're looking at big data here. We will, you'd be a member of quite a large postgraduate community. It's a very diverse community, but our programs are accredited by professional bodies, and I think this is an important part of what we do. So underpinning our quality aspect is our strong accreditation to these nationally recognized bodies, which we and our students and our alumni hold very important. So just to know that you'll get that as part of the degree. We do have a number of research centers. Smart technology one is probably the one that's most useful, but just shows the range. We're strong in research, and in our school, that's very important in what we do. For student support, and recognizing that maybe you might be coming in from another country, our student support is very, very strong at GCU. We've got very good academic support in the first place, so our staff are very available and supportive. And we know that from the feedback. The students really do appreciate that. It's one of the things we're known for. We've got a very good library, and we have IT and what's called a learning and development center. So that will support you at anything from academic writing to anything that you need around mathematics. All of those different areas that are there to support you in whatever you need to perform at the highest level in your degree. We have also personal support. We have a strong pastoral care approach within the staff, a sort of open door policy for our students. We have a strong careers department, which I'll talk about next, and we also have a very progressive health and well-being team that really do a lot to support our students. So just on our career services, because it's something we're keen that you know about, that we really do provide a lot of services to support students with their employability, and including personal skills and career development. So we have an on-campus work experience hub that supports a one-stop shop for finding jobs. And also we have a series of interactive tools which will support you from developing a cover letter to CV to psychometric tests to interview simulators. So it's a great set of additionals that we have. Often people ask about student accommodation. We do have an excellent provision of student accommodation right next to our campus, so-called Caledonian Court. It's modern, it's fresh, and it's easy to very close by the university. So that's something that I would recommend you look at, as well as there are other obviously private providers locally too. Scotland, finally, just before handing over to Pete, but Scotland's got a lot to see. It's a beautiful place, but it's a thriving, vibrant country, and we're on the doorstep of Europe. So but there's a lot to see and get involved in here when you're not doing your studies. So we're only about just less than an hour away from Edinburgh, the country's capital, and there's a lot of beautiful places to visit and see. Okay, well, I'm around, but I'll pass over to Pete, so he'll take over this next bit. Thank you, Pete.
Great, Charlie. Thanks very much for that overview of the university and also of Glasgow. So I'm Pete Barrie, and I'm the program leader for MSc Big Data Technologies in Glasgow. We actually run the program in Glasgow and London, so on both campuses, and some of the staff are in Glasgow. The majority of the staff are in Glasgow, and then we've got staff in London as well. And we all run the modules and present the modules. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what I'm going to talk about today. So I'll talk about the program a little bit. I'll talk about teaching methods. I'll talk about assessment as well for our top modules. We'll look at what support is available academically. Some information on accreditation with the British Computer Society. So that's a really good thing for students. And then some employability and career related stuff as well, and earnings potential, which is always very important on students' minds. So first of all, the slides are quite small, I think, here. So I don't want to go through this in great detail. It's just an overview of what you'll be learning within the program. So we have a mixture of modules which are related to data science and also data engineering. And those two themes really match where the majority of jobs are that are emerging at the moment within industry. So we have put together the program very specifically to be aligned to industry. So we've got cloud related stuff, so cloud computing being a fairly major thing. We have database related stuff, so big data platforms, big data landscape. We've got data visualization, since when we source data and manipulate data, we really want ways of interacting with that data and visualizing it. So we get data visualization. We have programming for data science, so software development for data science, and of course AI and machine learning, which are pretty big themes. So those are the top modules, together with research methods. So every master's program has to have a module which relates to research methods, and in our case also data ethics, since when we're using data, we have to do that in an ethically sound manner. So we've got that as well, and that prepares you also for dissertation. So we've got a lot of technical content, but also we've got research methods and then dissertation. So the top modules have got a significant practical content, and that obviously helps students build a set of skills which they can then take into industry within their first job. So we considered it very important when we were developing the program that there was a lot of practical content. So we developed it in partnership with industry. So we work a lot with industry in research projects and some consultancy projects. So we've got a lot of ties to industry, So they helped us put together the program, and also they help us when we're refreshing the program so that we're keeping everything up to date and aligned with best industry practices. So that's the top modules. And obviously every master's program has a dissertation, and that allows students to apply their newfound skills in some sort of challenging problem. That can be industry relevant, or it can be a research-based type project. And that's chosen by students themselves. So you get to practice in an area that you are interested in and comfortable with. So that's the content of the program. In terms of teaching, since we're teaching to Glasgow and London, we want to provide students with an identical presentation experience in both locations. So we don't teach separately in terms of lectures. We teach to both locations at the same time. So lectures are live and online, and they give the same presentation experience. And within that, staff and students can interact. So we've got voice or live chat, and also breakout sessions as well. So we can form groups for tutorial type activities in the online mode. So that's what we do for lectures. The lectures are recorded as well. So therefore, students can review those as many times as they require. And from our interactions and surveys, we find that the students really appreciate the flexibility that the online delivery mode for the lectures gives them. So they can access those if they're on campus, they can access those there, or if they're at home, they can access those. So we find that the lectures work well online, but we need to be interacting with students. We need students to be interacting with each other. So all the laboratory sessions are in a physical laboratory space in Glasgow or London. And typically, so we've got 4 modules per trimester. So I'll just look back at these slides. So starting in January, that's the next intake. We have 2 intakes of students, one in September and one in January. So starting in January, end of January, you've got 4 modules, as you can see there: cloud computing, Internet of Things, big data platforms, and data visualization. So we've got those, and each of those will have a 2-hour lab session each week. So there'll be 8 hours that you'll be in lab. And we've got very good lab facilities that we're using for the program. We've just refreshed the PCs that we use there. So we've got very high spec PCs with dual screens. So you've got a lot of real estate to work with in terms of how you lay out all your development tools on screen within the practical sessions. And these are led by usually the module leader or a lab tutor. And you work through lab exercises, and you've got support from the lab tutor during that time. But we don't just want students to work during that time on their lab work. We want to provide flexibility. So all the facilities that we use in lab are also available to students at no cost to install on their own machines, or they're available on cloud, because a lot of our stuff is cloud oriented as well. So all the practical work can easily be continued from the lab into your own time. So that's the mode of teaching. In terms of assessment, we assess our modules by coursework only. So we don't have any formal exams. We find that coursework is really much more representative of what's happening in the real world, so real world challenges. So you're undertaking practical exercises or research-oriented exercises, depending which module it is, and then you're delivering coursework exercises. So each module will have 2 coursework exercises, one that you'll get towards the middle of the module. So each of our modules are 12 weeks, plus we've got up to 3 weeks for delivering the second coursework exercise. So the first one is about midway, and then the second coursework is towards the end, but we've got a few weeks after the teaching period of 12 weeks, we've got a few weeks when you'll still be working on coursework exercises. We aim to try to space out the coursework delivery for each module, because you'll be doing 4 modules at the same time. So we aim to space out by a few days in terms of the delivery for each coursework, so you're not delivering them all at the same time. So that's the assessment mode. In terms of what support is available, so all the teaching and lab materials, all the recordings of the lectures are available on our online teaching system, which is called GCU Learn, which is based on the widely used Blackboard tool. So it's widely used within academia. So that's our online learning system, and you will access the lecture sessions through Blackboard as well on GCU Learn through something called Collaborate Ultra. In terms of our staff tend to be very supportive and very approachable. And staff support is available in various ways. So you'll see the staff at the lab sessions. So you get to interact and ask questions and get support if you've got issues or problems when you're undertaking the work. We also provide an online chat for our program. So we use a messaging workspace called Slack, which is quite heavily used in industry. So you're getting a practice that's used in industry, and we're using it as well. So we've got online chat there with various channels for different modules. Might have their own channel for discussions and problem solving. So we've got online chat, we've got email, obviously, so students will email staff as well if they've got something that they want to discuss individually. And also we provide personal meetings as well on demand outside of these activities. So staff are very happy to be approached and to help you. And as well as that, as well as our direct academic support from our program team, we've also got additional learning support through what's called the Learning Development Centre. So each of the academic schools within GCU has its own LDC, as it's called, Learning Development Centre. And I've just tried to give you a flavour of what's available here. So we've got induction materials. So before you even start, we've got lots of induction materials and videos available for you. We've got international student support, so specific activities, workshops for international students, and lots of other materials available. So LDC is both virtual and physical. So we actually have physical tutors that you can talk to as well within LDC. This slide just has a flavor of some of the materials that are currently available. So we've got writing. So for international students coming to the UK, you might not have had the same experience as maybe some of the UK students have had in terms of how you deliver exercises and what the standards are and what the writing standards are. So we've got writing workshops. We've got support for English language. We've got communication skills. We've got workshops to help you avoid plagiarism, etc. So we've got and English for academic purposes. So we've got a lot of help available to you, and it's very important that you access that. And this is just an overview of English for academic purposes. So it explains the individual activities. So this is actually available to you just now. If you go to our LDC for our school, so the School of Computing and Built Environment, Computing Engineering and Built Environment, it's called SCIBI. If you look it up in a Google search tends to be quite good at accessing our website. you just look up GCU Skibi LDC, you'll get the full range of activities there to help support you. Accreditation, this is a very important thing. Our program is accredited by the British Computer Society. So we go through a process where we deliver to the BCS a very detailed set of materials relating to how the content of our program and how we run our program as well, how we interact with students, what facilities we have. So we are accredited by the BCS, and the idea is that we have better graduate outcomes from that, in that graduates who come from an accredited program will stand out in terms of their CVs, in terms of applying for jobs, etc. So very much valued by employers, the fact that there's BCS accreditation. And the degree that we deliver, having been accredited by BCS, they know that we're providing you with up-to-date knowledge and skills that employers are requiring within the jobs that they're providing, and it gives you professional recognition. It opens up a route to being a chartered IT professional, so you get some letters after your name as well. So if you go to the BCS website, you'll get some information on that. And one of the most important things is when you apply for the chartered IT professional status, you have to provide probably a portfolio of work that you're undertaking within your employment. But the bottom part of that slide it comes directly from the BCS site, and it says, can your qualifications advance your application? Well, yes, they can. And if you click on the link, it allows you to see that we are accredited. You can search for GCU, see our accreditation, but it gives you a fast track to the chartered IT professional status, the fact that we are accredited by BCS. So that's very important within your working life. The last set of things that I want to mention today is employment. A couple of years ago, we had a labour market report generated, and that covered big data and the sort of related skills within big data. And at that point, there were more than 44,000 on any given day, 44,000 UK job postings requesting big data skills. And over lots of different industry and business areas as well. But the most common phrases were software developer, engineer, data engineers, data mining analyst, and data scientist. And that's what our program brings together. It brings together a really good mixture of data science and data engineering. So it covers the skills that are in demand. And just out of interest, because students will have the opportunity when they finish their MSc and have an MSc qualification to actually stay on in the UK and apply for a visa for a couple of years. Edinburgh and Glasgow were in the top 10 cities in demand for big data skills. So Edinburgh 3rd and Glasgow 9th. So Edinburgh and Glasgow are building significant capacity for industry, for businesses that are working with computing and data skills, data engineering, data science. And during the period that we did this survey, the job postings that with big data skills in demand were increased by 27%. So, and that's increasing year on year. So lots of demand. And AI skills, machine learning, data visualization, data science, these are some of the themes that we explored in more depth. And we're seeing basically huge increases in the jobs becoming available, up to 50 percent increase over the last couple of years. So we're hitting the right targets in terms of what we're teaching, which aligns perfectly with moving into industry, business, and also research. Some students will choose to maybe go on to do a PhD study, and again, our subjects align with lots of interesting work that's being done at PhD level, especially in data science and AI, machine learning. In terms of salaries, at the point that we surveyed, we can see that jobs that were being advertised with big data skills and without big data skills, we can see that the salaries are significantly higher for data engineers, data scientists, and architects, significantly higher if you've got the skills in big data. So that's extremely important as well, because you want to be able to find a job that gives you a good salary, a good standard of life. And this was just some other themes and an overview of the types of salaries that are available. So all in all, we think we're delivering a good program that's relevant to the real world. It's certainly a very popular program. At the moment, we've got about 150 students over our Glasgow and London campuses. So the numbers have been increasing year on year, and students are then going on to find very interesting jobs. So that's me for my overview, and I think questions are being put to the chat. So if you get any questions, put that on the chat session. So thanks very much.
Thanks for that, Pete. There's a couple of questions in the chat about assessment bases, whether it's exam based or assessments. So would you like to give a wee bit of information on how assessments are made?
How assessments? Okay, so let's go back here. Assessments. So just to recap on that, there's no formal exams. All our assessments are coursework only. So there'll be a coursework exercise, which will be sometimes problem-based. So it's a very technical module. It'll be problem-based, and you'll be asked about some of the fundamental aspects of the subject area, and also you'll be undertaking a practical exercise and then reporting on that exercise. So that will involve building some sort of technology with underpinned by programming skills and underpinned by understanding the technologies that you'll be using, such as if you're doing AI, then you'll be using a programming language like Python, and you'll be using AI libraries, and you'll be sourcing some data and then manipulating that and getting some insights or building a model which will help to understand the data and maybe predict something about the data for the future. So we've got technical exercises, and we've got exercises related to the fundamental concepts that you'll be learning. So there's 2 of those per module. They'll be given out maybe the first one towards the middle of the module delivery, and you'll get about 3 to 4 weeks to work on that, and then deliver that electronically. All our stuff is delivered electronically into our learning system, so there's no printing of things or handing in paper. So I say all coursework, no formal exams. So hopefully that answers that question. Thank you.
There's one other question about the duration of the course, whether it's 16 months or 12 months. So just to clear that up, if we start the programme in September, that's a 12-month duration. For full-time starting in January, the duration is 16 months, and that's just because of the summer break in between trimester B and then going on to trimester A teaching.
That's correct. So if you start at the end of January, you work from January through to the beginning of May, or mid-May with the assessment period. And then we have trimester C, which is the summer period. But for students that have started in January, we don't have any teaching in trimester C. Our teaching returns in trimester A, which is in September, at the end of September. So you'll be doing January trimester A teaching, January trimester B teaching, then September trimester A, and then the next trimester B, so the following January, you should be doing dissertation. And dissertation also lasts about 12 weeks. And then you'll be delivering a report, and you'll also be doing an oral presentation for that. So that brings it up to the 16 months. Okay.
That's great. Thank you very much, Pete. There's no more questions at the moment. So without further delay, I'd like to pass over to Hagar to give her own experience of studying the programme. If anyone has any other questions while Hagar's speaking, just pop them in the chat and we'll pick those up too. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you. I'm so happy to meet you again. I haven't seen you. So my name is Hagar Ashur, and I just gained my master's degree in Big Data Technology last September. So I start from September 2022 and I finished September 2023. And my dissertation was related to AI, something like large language model and this stuff. So I decided to go to do my master's degree for many reasons. I study computer science in my bachelor, and I have a couple of experience working in technology, but I need more updated knowledge in this topic, and especially I was interested in data science. And if you go for online resources like Coursera or whatever, you will find a good material, but the point is sometimes you don't know how the material can be connected together. And that is what the master will provide you with, because you will study IoT, you will study clouding, you will study computer science, and you study big data and data analysis, data engineering. And in this master, you will see that everything is connected somehow. And that's different from you study yourself without a structure or hierarchy of the program. So the program is a really heavy program, I have to be honest, and it requires a lot of study, a lot of time to do your coursework, a lot of time to watch or rewatch the lecture. What is good about the program, it's hybrid program, so all lecture is online, but there is a lot of also labs which should be on campus. I was in Glasgow campus, which I was very lucky for that. So it's very important to watch it, to be part of the lecture, even if it's recorded. It's very important to rewatch it again to gain knowledge, especially if topic that is new for you. And the lab is also very important, not just because of the attendance and all stuff, which is also important, but because the experience that you gain in the lab will help you with the coursework. And I have to be honest, the coursework is a heavy coursework, because it's not like it's not exam. It's what is the word? It's like a report that you have to submit, and the reward could be stuff that you have never seen it before. So you have to do some research. You have to do a lot of research, honestly. You have to looking for some material, how you can do this stuff. And this is very important, that you will do a lot of research, so you will learn how you gain hand-on skills in research and such stuff. So that is about the program itself. As Peter mentioned, we have 4 modules every semester, and I think all the topics have been updated, something more related to the business. And now after my graduation, whenever I apply for any job, the requirement, I feeling a little bit confident about, okay, I studied that before, I have this knowledge, I know what they are looking for. And that's why the program is very related to the business, and it's really recommended if you want to go, that you will gain a really experience that will help you to gain the jobs that you're looking for. What another stuff that you will gain from the program is access to a very high level books and journals and papers that related to the topic or related to the field, which is very important, especially if you want to learn something new. It's very important to not just gain the technical skills, but also the basic skills or the, let's say, the theory behind the practical skills. And because you are part of the program, you will have the privilege to access all this material for free, which is very great. You will work with a lot of open source also software, so you don't need to pay for any software. Even the cloud system that we are using, we have license, so the professor gives you a credit that you can use it to build your model on the cloud, which is absolutely something very amazing. My advice as a student, you have to start study from the first day. Don't keep it for next week, or don't keep it to maybe like next month or whatever, because the time is flying like that with this master. And after a couple of weeks, you will find, oh, you have to deliver your first coursework. And it's good to start as early as possible to keep yourself updated. And my experience is something very hard that I don't really understand. It's okay to approach the professor. I came from a country when we don't have this approach that much, and it's not easy to approach to any professor, but in GCU is not like that at all. It's a safe area when you can be yourself. It's okay to approach any professor. I remember I approached Peter before, telling him how I have some issue with a specific point. I didn't really got it. And he was very patient to explain the stuff for me. And it really helped me to overcome the challenge I face. And I would recommend don't wait until the last moment. If you feel yourself you don't really into the stuff, just go and ask for help. And as I said, maybe because we are international, we are not using to that, but it's really important to ask for help when you need it. Another thing is the library is open. You can find whatever you want there. During the exam period, I think it's open 24 hours, so you can even stay as much as you want for any material you are looking for. My advice as international student, when you apply for the master, apply to the court, Caledonian court, as your place to stay. I don't know if this is still there or not, but when I came last year to Glasgow, there was a very heavy accommodation problem in Scotland, especially in Glasgow. And a lot of people really suffering to find a place. So my advice is when you go, just apply to the court. Don't read any Google review because the Google review is not good, but the place absolutely amazing and it's very close from the school. You're just crossing the street. And it's in the city center, so you will be in a very living area. And by saying that, it's very important also to maintain a level of integrity during your coursework. You cannot just copy other people's work. You cannot allow other or hire someone to do your work because you will be discovered and the consequences of that is not always good. So it's good to say it's fine to take or to, to inspire from other material, but you have always to mention that you use this material, you use this help. And even if you face any challenge, it's okay to mention during your coursework, like, this is a challenge I face, that's how I solve it. I speak with my professor, I maybe ask for some experience, some expertise, or whatever. So just maintain a good level of integrity. It's very important. And the last thing in the study is dissertation, because the dissertation is the last thing. And we have, I think, 4 topics that we can build our dissertation on: machine learning and AI, IoT, or cloud and computer, or data engineering. So you can pick whatever topic you want, and you can have your own idea and approach your professor that you target, or you can just wait the professors says what topics they are interested in, and then you can pick a one. In my case, I speak with some people and they recommend a very specific professor to approach to him for a topic I want to work on. And this professor doesn't know me before, and he was very welcome and very happy to accept me as his student. So don't afraid if you have an idea, even a crazy one, go for it. Speak with a professor, speak with anyone you're feeling it will help you. And it's okay if you're feeling some topic is complicated, they will start from scratch with you. So maybe you need some level of experience, but it's okay, you will learn. Like some stuff I never hear about it before. And as I said, with hard work, you will gain it. But the life being a student in GCU is not about the study, it's also about building a community. Honestly, it's very important to know your colleague, to know who are with you, meet people, speak with them, try to introduce yourself, try to attend some event, not just work event or fair event, but some places, because you are in a city center. There are some companies, they have some event network. You can attend some fair job what's the name? A meeting or events, and above all, you can enjoy yourself in Scotland. The local are very kind. They are very friendly. You will not feel any kind of violence or people treats you in a bad way like any other country. Actually, you will be feeling very welcome. They will speak with you even if they don't know you. They will open to start any kind of conversation with you about any topic, and they will help you. They're willing to help or listening to what you are saying. So enjoy it. Enjoy the city. The city. I think the university itself is offering some affordable trips that you can join, and it's very cheap, not very expensive, and you will enjoy the country. As I said, you can go to Edinburgh, you can go to some new cities near from Glasgow. Even Glasgow itself is amazing. All the museums are for free, most of them, so you can go and visit it. A lot of green area. Like I came from place with not a lot of green area, so it was very enjoyable to have this to see all this green area and all these parks and all of that. It was amazing. And as I said, build a community. You don't need to just be with people from your country or from your origin. Just expand your network. Make people from everywhere. Um, Make people from another country, because there are a lot of international students. To be honest, uh, a lot of international students in the program. Like in my program, I think most of us are international. So meet them. Just don't keep yourself with people you know or people from background. Open your mind and be acceptable for others. So yeah, that's all I have. So it's absolutely a very amazing experience, and if time back, I will do the same, because for me, I left my job and I have to start my master, and I never regret that. So it's a very positive. I support anyone to go that to really take this step.
Thank you very much, Hagar. That's great. We've got a couple of questions in. Perhaps Pete might want to address some of this. One of the questions, there's a couple of people have asked this in slightly different ways, looking at how many classes the course has in a week, how much time there is for breaks in between teaching.
Okay, so we have 4 modules running in each trimester, and for each module, there will be a 2-hour lecture tutorial session, and there will be a 2-hour lab. So that's 4 hours per module, and then we've got 4 modules, so that's 16 hours. And obviously you have to come to campus for the lab sessions, but the lecture sessions are flexible. So on the timetable for this trimester, we have one day where we're lecturing in 2 subjects, I think, 2 or 3 subjects. So you don't need to come to campus on that day. And then other days where we might have a mixture of lecture and lab sessions. So yeah, 4 hours contact per module, either in lab or online in a lecture session. But you also have to spend time studying as well, as Hagar said in her very useful and eloquent overview. There's a lot of work to do. It's a master's degree, so you would expect there to be a lot of work. But so you have to study in your own time. You maybe have to finish the lab materials in your own time as well. But in terms of the modules, 4 hours per module per week.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Pete. One other question was about internships, placements. Do we provide internships in industry?
No, we don't. That's not part of the program. I mean, students can look for such opportunities themselves for if they want, but we don't tend to have many students doing that. If you start in January, then trimester, which is trimester B, then trimester C in the summer is free, and you could look for something yourself. Our career service might help you, but we don't tend to have many students doing that, so we don't have placements.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Pete. I think that's all the questions we have that have come in through the chat boxes. I'd just like to thank everybody for attending, all our potential new students who have come to join this session. I hope you found it valuable. Thank you very much to all our presenters for giving up their time today. I found it really interesting as well. So if anyone has any further questions, you can get in contact with us by email, and we'll be able to look after you any follow-up requests. If no one has any other questions, I think we can close the webinar just now. Thanks, everybody.
Great. Thanks very much for attending. And thanks to Hagar, Charlie, Jenny, etc. Okay, bye for now.